Hello everyone, this is Mike Bar again, and I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna be drinking an amazing tea and the Tao 45. The amazing tea is I bought it from Quicheteas. It's a Liming 2006 Yushang Qiaomu. I guess that's how you say it. The first time I drank it, I put too much tea in the guy one, and I put too hot water in the guy one. I just went too hard, and just like you don't know somebody, you don't want to like use a bunch of bad words and jokes and slap them hard in the back. Haha, they're not gonna probably like it that much. So my first interaction with this new friend was a little bit harsh from my part, and I should heed that advice for my interactions with people, and also, for the next time I drink another shank. So the Tao 45, let's see which one of these translations. I'm just gonna read one. All the water gets on temperature. It says, true perfection seems imperfect, yet it is perfectly itself. True fullness seems empty, yet it is fully present. True straightness seems crooked. True wisdom seems foolish. True art seems artless. The master allows things to happen. She shapes events as they come. She steps out of the way and lets the Tao speak for itself. I have to say, when I decided to do this reading with my family, we tried like twice. We've recorded videos talking about it, but then we just kept talking about it afterwards. It was never done. It was never like, okay, we got it. This is kind of like what it means. And in a sense, that's what it is. It is the process, right? Well, there are different things in there. For instance, had this tea been perfect, no problem. Just put that hot water in there, and I had no hard time getting the flavor that I was expecting, because I wanted to get that. It has a smoky honey, leather, and vanilla aroma. It's very delicious, that smokiness, and it's in the leaves when they're dry, but when they're wet, it's even sweeter. So, how did I get behind that wall of bitterness, right? Well, you could have said, oh, that's a bad tea, then just don't drink it. Drink one that is easy, like a Hongcha Classic 58 or whatever, the Dianhong, some easy, some easy red tea. But, it's right there. That's right there. Yeah, those flavors remain. There is a sweetness in the tip of my tongue and all around the edge, and a very balanced dryness. It reminds me that I'm drinking tea and not something else. But it's not astringent. It has a little bit of light tobacco to it, but black tobacco, like a cigar. Anyhow, had I not had that imperfection in the dynamics, I wouldn't have been thinking about what happened. I wouldn't have been looking into maybe other people trying to explain how was their experience, or brewing a different way, or maybe I was doing something wrong and I needed to look again into what I'm doing while I'm doing this. So then I came the second time. I sat with the tea and I put less grams. I measured this time. The first time I don't even know how much I put. I just grabbed the chunk and put it in there. Um, and I was in silence and trying to read the flavor and what kind of interaction I needed to have with timing and um, the intensity of my movements or the intention with what was happening, right? Then I realized it had been a while that I haven't been totally quiet, not busy with something else in my head or whatever, but just fully present on a Kung Fu session. And it came from a tea that gave me a kick in the face, right? It was like a ton of bricks when I brewed the first time. Um, then later I mined the way I move the leaves inside and how much time it takes for me to steep. So that imperfection created growth, and that is what it was all about. The nature of life and the existence we have on this planet is, to go from full to empty and vice versa, right? The duality of forces and movement and inhale and exhale. We can just inhale, right? There's not just high tide forever. There is not sun all the time or only summer or only winter. It's like that. So that's in a way, in part, what I got from that, which is that what seems like, it's broken, it isn't, right? And then the Japanese have their idea of kintsugi and how you can make something more valuable out of something that is broken with the uh, golden repair of their ceramics. No, there's another thing that comes from basically the fact that language in itself and the way we understand things, physics, for example, don't understand. We can measure and calculate at a certain level of physics, like subatomics have certain types of calculations. I don't want to get too into it, but we can calculate there with certain boundaries and limits, but those don't apply at a larger scale. It is better to use Newtonian physics, and with those we can go all the way to calculate gravitational fields and all the way to like maybe trajectory out there and even satellites and whatever. But then after that, before starting to think about close or maybe the light speed and all of that, then there are other rules that are not going to be able to be calculated with Newtonian physics. It's going to be better with relativity and stuff like that, right? Like Einstein's relativity theory. So just like uh, a person, when does it become an adult, right? Like, because we say it's 18, okay, we agree on that, right, socially now. But is there really a point where that happens, or where is that line? Where is that point where you grab a magnifying glass and it's magnifying, and then you keep going, then it gets blurry, and suddenly the image is upside down? Where is that? I mean, I guess we can calculate that. But using it as a metaphor to understand that it is a fractal. Life is a fractal in which there's always a missing part that allows for that dynamic to happen. That incompleteness is what makes it complete. Because of that is that things have motion, right? You can understand that maybe through entropy or whatever, but don't want to get into complex terms. The basic notion that struggle could be seen as a lack, but it actually is something that makes you more fulfilled, that happiness ensues after experiencing the contrast and not the other way around, are things that we may want to meditate there. And I want to just mention, at some point I had a conversation with a friend, that a doctor, PhD. It was in humanities. I don't remember in what. Something with writing, or I don't think philosophy, but something with literature or whatever. And he actually said that he thought that Taoism was the most like nonsensical thing. That it was like everything is, but it's not, and nothing. Whatever you think it is not, and just nothing makes sense. And it clearly clearly he was like that. That's what seems stupid to me. We have the example of Diogenes the Great. He definitely was not someone who you would look up to if you just judge him by the cover. So sometimes that is the thing. And as I mentioned last time, we talked about Taoism, the Shuangzi story of the fish Ku and the bird Pang, that were so massive that smaller creatures could not understand, and they ridiculized their existence and what they had to do to be able to just do anything normal. It is difficult to see things when you are so abstracted from it, so like not abstracted, but so like abducted, I guess would be the right word. Sorry, ESL. So that's how I understand the Tao 45. And the temperature of this, I can touch the kettle for like half a second with the back of my hand, and it doesn't really burn me. I just feel it's hot. If I do more, it will burn me. But that's, you've been watching how I'm brewing this Shang, and it is how I am trying to go through gentle with a type of tea that I don't know. And I think it's a better way of addressing the dynamics, because it is, the strength is in the subtle, just coming from there instead of just going super hard and having it just go too just having it be too hard. Resist back and punch, right? I think that if you were going to increase the time, or just increase the time in this one, not so much the temperature, if you were wanting to extract more, because it really is kind of sensitive for that astringency and bitterness. Although if the motions are right, it's a very nice tea, but it requires way more attention and participation. I like it very much. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and that it didn't bore you too much. And I will be trying to, that was a good one, post more Taoism in the future. Thank you.